Hey guys, before we start the narration, as you can see, I'm at Mall of America right now, so I'm not gonna be attending the premiere. So I'm very sorry, but I'll try to get back with trying to watch the premieres with you guys. So in the meantime, I'm at Mall of America, so I'm sorry I can't attend the premiere. So once again, I'm sorry, and I'll try to watch the premiere with you guys. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed the narration. Let's get to it. It was 10 a.m. at the Loud house as the Loud family watched out of their home in a panic. Today was the day they had been dating for the last few weeks, April Fool's Day. This means that Luan would be pranking her entire family with hidden prank traps set in various rooms and areas of the house all day long. However, for the rest of her family, they always had a plan in motion to avoid Luan and her pranks. Quick, inside the bunker, everybody, Lisa said effectually, leading the family inside a military-grade underground bunker just outside the house. Rita, Lindsay, Lola, Lana, Luna, Lucy, Len Jr., Lainey, Lori, and Lincoln followed Lisa inside the bunker, with now a four-year-old Lily following close behind him. Man, I can't believe Luan is at it again, and here I thought she kept her word that she wouldn't pull any more pranks on April Fool's Day, especially after last year. Lori pouted. No one in the family had forgotten about last year's April Fool's prank. Luan had pulled on them all. She had hired good actors from the film studio to take the places of her family members in order to prank them all. But Luan eventually got what was coming to her. When her family got back at her by placing all of her belongings in a moving van and forcing Luan to make a mad dash across town to get her stuff back. Even after all that, Luan still hadn't given up on pranking. Yeah, but what do you expect? She's Luan, the prankster queen. It's not like she's gonna give up pranking anytime soon, Luna replied. Luan, a meanie, Lady said. I'm telling you, we gotta do something about it once this day is over, Rita urged her husband. Blinding Luan doesn't do much good, though, Lindsay replied. She always goes back on her word every year. Her pranks will be the death of us one day, Lucy said grimly. I'll doubt she ever go that far, Lane Jr. replied. But her pranks could be ending up hurting someone real bad someday if she keeps it up. We should try setting up for Luan for once, Lola suggested. But before anyone could respond to her suggestion, they heard a knock on the bunker door. Come out, my little siblings. I know you're in there. Luan called out in the sing-song tone of her voice, followed by a laugh. Not a chance, Luan, Lana yelled. Yeah, we're not looking to fall into your prank traps like last time, Lainey added. Oh, come on, Luan chanted. I'm not gonna bite. Now come out, Lady said, shaking her head. Luan, we're not coming out until nightfall, or until you dismantle those traps of yours, so get lost, Lori snapped. Gee whiz, what a party pooper. Get it? Luan laughed, spotting a bag of pig poop on the bunker, and then headed away from the bunker and back into the house. Man, she's not gonna give up, is she? Lola moaned. Then I'll do something about it, Lincoln declared. Everyone turned to face Lincoln with shocked explorations. What? Lincoln? Luan's probably got every room in the house rigged with prank traps. You're not seriously going in there, are you? Lenny exclaimed. Yes, I'm gonna trip all the traps she got set in the house. So that we can all get out of here. Lincoln nodded. I did it once to prevent Wani Yen from getting caught in them. If I did it once, I can do it again. Lincoln, are you sure about this? Rita asked concerned. Very sure, Mom. Lincoln nodded. I'll spray the traps and bring back to get you in a flash. Alright, be careful, Rita replied as Lincoln climbed up the ladder leading to the bunker door. Your funeral, bro, Lucy said. Lincoln turned the wheel of the bunker to the right, unlocking the door. He then pushed it open and climbed out of the bunker, then slide a step around the door to avoid the pig done Luan through the door a minute ago. Lincoln then closed the door and started towards the house. But once he reached the porch, he sat up a prank trap set on the roof above him. A small twine rope was nailed to a loose floorboard on the porch steps and attached to a bucket of red food coloring on the roof. And when Lincoln stepped on the board, he caused the bucket to lid and spilled the red liquid all over him. This really pissed him off since he just washed his shirt the other night, and this food coloring will be impossible to get out. Ugh, that Luan, just gonna regret this. Lincoln growled in frustration as his white hair and orange shirt got wet. Just then, a Samsung tablet with a webcam attached to the front door sprang to life and displayed Luan's grinning face on the screen. Well, Lincoln, come to try to stop me, Luan taunted. But while Lincoln could tell from the surroundings around Luan, two was in the kitchen standing near the sink. He tried to open the door, but he had a wooden door stuck onto it from the inside. Luan, your pranks have gone far enough, and we're all sick of it, Lincoln snapped angrily. I'm coming in there and spraying whatever traps you set. Then you're gonna wash my shirt out. Then you can wash my shirt. Now take the stop out from onto this door. Sorry, but I can't do that, Luan said, reaching up the screen for something. I'm just having a blast today. Suddenly, a set of party poppers hanging from the porch ceiling went off above Lincoln, showering him with confetti. Luan laughed loudly as Lincoln glared off frustration at her. Then the tablet went dark. Ugh, I had enough of this. Lincoln snapped immediately, raiding the door and attempted to loosen the door, stop and open the door. After sending the tablet down inside the house, Luan finished sending her last prank trap. This one contained a transport piece of plastic twine that switched across the entrance to the kitchen. A jar of old baking grease, which she poured across the floor, leading to the refrigerator, and a bucket of water balloons on top of the fridge. The way this prank will work is that Lincoln will head for the kitchen, strip on the twine, and slide across the grease on the floor. Then slam the fridge, which will cause the bucket on top of it to spill water balloons all over him. After Luan finished setting the bucket in place, she jumped off from the stool she was using and said, Yeah, he'll never see this one coming. Luan kicked the stool aside and grabbed her iPad tablet, then headed to the attic where no prank traps had been set, and watched everything unfold through Lisa's security cameras on her iPad. However, Luan was so procured and excited for setting up the last trap that she didn't notice that one of the front bouncing legs on the fridge was loose. Too loose. By the point Lincoln had gotten the door open enough to slip inside, once he entered the house, Lincoln thought about where he should start looking for Luan's prank traps. He knew that she most likely hid the traps in the area that that he never looked before. It had been 2 years since Lincoln had foiled Luan's traps to save one Yen from getting caught in one of them. So he knew that she had probably put the traps in different locations. I better start with the upstairs first, then I'll check the rest of the downstairs for any other traps, Luan might have said. Lincoln decided, then walked up to the stairs and checked for traps. Once he got to the top of the stairs, Lincoln stepped on a small rubber bulb that suddenly exploded and showered him with big comic brain onion powder, which made him sneeze several times. Man, I hate onion powder, but I can't stop now, too, Lincoln said with a sneeze. He entered the hallway and saw the door to his parents was open a crack, giving him the impression that something was off. Lincoln walked up the door and pulled it open fully, only to be splattered with a pail of rotten eggs, which stunk like a bunch of real bad diarrhea of thoughts. Ah, sweet mother of Christ, rotten eggs! Lincoln exclaimed in complete disgust as he went out of the room, coughing from the horrible stench. A few licks expired on his shirt and head, but most of them had missed Lincoln entirely, landing his feet. Luan, you really don't know when to quit, do you? Lincoln growled as he headed for his sister's rooms next. In the attic, Luan stood near an old chair laughing hysterically as she watched the camera feeds on her iPad of Lincoln setting off all the traps in each of her siblings' rooms. Lucy and Lynn's room were rigging the pile launchers with split Lincoln in the face and chest with chocolate cream pie. The beds in Lori and Lenny's room were filled with non-vitamin corn snakes, which Lincoln took back in the cage into Lana and Lola's room, only to trip another prank trap that Luan shot rubber bands at him from a set of pot guns sitting on Lola's tea table. Man, you really despise to stop my pranks, aren't you, Lincoln? Luan laughed like a crazy Yatari girl as she watched Lincoln enter hers and Luna's room. The trap in her room contained a garden hose and a piece of rope attached to the valve on the end. When Lincoln stepped on it, he got sprayed with water, then launched into Lisa and Lily's room. Once Lincoln entered the room, he stepped on a carpet that launched a bunch of oatmeal balloons and some of Lisa's old chemicals at him. But he quickly walked out of the room and slammed the door shut before they could hit him. Looks like my room is last, Lincoln sighed in frustration. I better get this over with so we can all enjoy our day. In the attic, Luan watched as Lincoln headed straight towards his room and pulled the door open. Man, wait until he sees what's in there, she snarled as she watched Lincoln enter his room. Once he was inside, Lincoln saw what looked like a party ball sitting on its bed. When he approached it, he tried to touch it. The ball exploded like a firecracker and charged Lincoln with confetti and whipped cream. He was about to leave the room when he noticed something laying in the center of the split-open party ball. What's this? Lincoln wondered as he pulled the ball apart to see what was inside. But what he saw was very unpleasant and shocking. No! Luan gasped in shock at what he saw. Sitting in the bed in pieces was none other than Bun, his stuffed rabbit that he keeps since he was Lily's age. Both of Bun's arms had been blown off along with the right ear and lay on his bed. His body also had a few charm marks from the firecrackers, but not any non-repairable damage, thankfully. Lincoln picked up the damaged stuffed rabbit in his trembling hands and felt his anger boil. There were more than enough pranks that Lincoln could withstand, but this one crossed the line big time. Bum Bum was his best friend to him, and the way treated him the stuffed rabbit like it was some toy or part to be used as a border for pranks. Lincoln set the rabbit down on his bed and turned back towards the door, an engaged look on his face. Luan loud, where the hell are you? You're gonna pay for this one! Lincoln yelled angrily. Luan still smirked and snickered at his temper, but couldn't help but wonder if maybe she'd gone a bit too far. She didn't watch Lincoln head for the stairs on the camera, wondering where he'd go next. And it didn't take long for Luan to figure that out. He was headed for the kitchen. I swear, I'm really gonna teach that prankster a lesson when I get my hands on her. This time, she's gone too far. Lincoln hissed fracturally as she headed straight for the kitchen. However, he was so focused on finding Luan that he didn't notice the trip wire on the kitchen entrance as Lincoln headed for the kitchen, tripped over the transparent cable in the doorway before he even noticed it, breaking in the process. Hey, what in the... Wah! Lincoln yelled as he slipped and fell into the smelly bacon grease, where he slid across the floor and slammed his head into the fridge. Lincoln hit the fridge so hard that it caused it to wobble back and forth, spilling the bucket water balloons all over around him and getting him wet. Luan laughed her head off as she watched Lincoln flip his sack on the camera. But what happened next was something she never even expected would happen. The loose leg on the fridge finally gave away from the force of impact and broke off, causing the fridge to fall forward. Lincoln quickly tried to get out of the way, but he wasn't fast enough. Unfortunately, the heavy fridge fell directly on him, causing Lincoln to let out a blood-curdling scream of anger and pain. But his screams were soon silent after a second crunch was heard from beneath the top-lit fridge. Everything was silent. Absolutely silent. Luan's laughter stopped, and her joy and amusement quickly turned to fear, horror, and dread, and she watched the whole scene unfold before her eyes on the camera faded from her iPad. She can't believe what just happened, nor did she even suspect something like this would happen. Oh God, no! Lincoln! Luan gasped in horror. She quickly threw the iPad down and or being back nearby and watched down the ladder and out of the attic and as quick as a roadrunner. Once Luan made it down the stairs into the kitchen, she found the fridge lying top of Lincoln. But that wasn't the worst thing she saw. From under the fridge, Luan saw a small puddle of blood forming beneath the top of it. At this point, Luan knew she was in deep trouble, but that was the least of her worries. She tried with all her might to lift the fridge off of Lincoln, but it was too heavy. Yet her fear and desperation caused a massive airline rush to flow through her. With one final effect, Luan pulled all the strength into her arm muscles and pushed the fridge as hard as she could. Finally lifting it off, Lincoln and off to the side. However, nothing could have prepared her for what she saw. No! Luan cried out in absolute horror. Lincoln lied unconscious on his side with a massive bloody bruise on his forehead, which drenched his white hair red with blood, a black left eye, and a few broken teeth. His right forearm had got into the worst, however. It was not only broken, but the bone had placed through the skin and could be seen powdering all to the side of the forearm. This was the source of the blood had poured beneath Luan's feet. She checked him for a pulse, when the worst had happened, but she felt a pulse running through his neck. He was alive to her relief. Lincoln! Luan cried, taking her brother on his bed to attempt to wake him up. Wake up, Lincoln! Please wake up! Please! Lincoln didn't even stir, which when Luan began to panic. She knew without a doubt that she'd be grounded for life, but Luan didn't care. She marched out of the kitchen and headed outside. Meanwhile, in Lisa's bunker, the rest of the Loud family grew a little bit concerned about how long Lincoln was taking. Lincoln's sure taking a long time in there. I wonder if he's okay. Lola wondered. I'm sure he's fine, kids. Lincoln's dealt with this before, so I'm sure he can handle the wind, Rita assured her. Before anyone could say anything else, a loud, rapt baying erupted from the bunker door, catching everyone's attention. Lori glanced at the door window, thinking it was Lincoln, but she only saw Luan. Luan, I already told you once before. Get away from... Lori was caught up by Luan. Guys, open up! You gotta help me! She yelled friskily, banging on the door again. No, not a chance. No chance, Luan. You think we're gonna fail for that trick? We're not stupid as you think. Lana scoffed in disbelief. Chase why, Luan? Luna added. You're just going to pull a prank on us if we open this door. Please, Lincoln's hurt. He's hurt real bad. He's losing blood. Luan practically screamed. That got everyone's attention big time. I thought some of the girls thought it was a scared tactic to get them all to come out. But they immediately knew that something was terribly wrong when they noticed the tears in Luan's eyes. Girls, I don't think she's lying, Rita said with a fearful tone. We better get up there now. Lindsay walked up towards the bunker door and unlocked it. Once he opened it, he led the rest of the family out of the bunker while Luan stood nearby in tears. When Lindsay and the others noticed how frightening Luan looked, they all knew at once that something bad happened. Luan, where's Lincoln, and what happened to him? Rita demanded. He's in the kitchen. The fridge fell on him, Luan steamed, wiping tears from her eyes. Not even saying another word, the whole family watched to the house faster than ever before, while Lindsay and Rita made their way to the kitchen, completely unprepared for what they saw. Oh my God! Rita screamed in horror and went to Lincoln's side, sitting Lily down, and she knelt before him. Lincoln hurt, Lily wins, crying up to Lincoln and tapping his head. She had been 4 years old, but she understood that her brother was that her brother was in trouble just by looking at the state he was in. Lincoln, my God, his arm! Lindsay cried out in terrible shock, watching up at his mangled son. As soon as the elves made to the kitchen, there were gaps in chocolate side of the brother in his mental state. Even Lucy looked desperately disturbed. Lori, call the ambulance now! Rita yelled in a panicked voice. Lori called for help on her cell phone while Lady glanced over at Luan angrily and shouted. Luan, what the hell have you done to him? Luan had no words. Hey, what's the fridge is on its side? Lana pointed to the fridge, which is now lying on its side where Luan had moved it. Lindsay looked over the top fridge, then over at Luan with rage in his eyes. Luan, what in God's name do you do? Why is the refrigerator knocked over? he yelled. I didn't, Luan began, but was cut off by Lori. Mom, I just called the hospital. They're sending help. They said that help will arrive in a few minutes, Lori informed Rita. Mom, Lincoln's not dead, is he? Lucy questioned, not in her usually gloomy tone, but in a frightened manner. No, I felt a pulse, but if help didn't arrive soon... Rita stopped herself from saying what she was about to say, but she could tell that Lucy understood. We better something to wrap his broken arm up in. If Lincoln keeps losing blood at this pace, we may lose him. Lisa informed her siblings in the most serious tone she ever spoken. I'll get one of the old clean towels from the basement, Lana said, rushing out of the room at breakneck speed for the basement. As Lana left the room, Rita tried to display it to wake Lincoln up, but to no avail. Lindsay and Avenge demanded Luan to tell him just what had happened, and Luan, not caring she got in trouble, spilled the beans. She described the prank in the kitchen and how it's supposed to work. Then Luan explained how when Lincoln tripped over, that now the broken tripwire, he slid across the floor and slammed into the fridge, which caused it to fail on him. And that's what happened, Luan concluded. But you have to believe me. When I said I had no idea the fridge will fail on him, that was never my delusion. Luan, whatever you're not in your plan to drop the fridge on Lincoln matters not, Lindsay said in a surprisingly calm tone, but still an influx of anger. The fact of the matter is that you did something very reckless without using your head, and because of that, look what's become of Lincoln. That's why, Luan, Lori snapped, glaring at Luan. Do you even consider the facts that your prank may have gone wrong? Do you think to check the fridge for any signs of what just could have happened? You really done this time, Luan. This time, you've gone too far, Lenny declared. I told you... oh my goodness, I can't read today. I told you that your pranks would be the death of us one day. Lucy hissed at Luan, actually showing her eyes for the first time, as they looked very angry. Luan jumped back, startled. Lucy had never been this hostile before, but it was understandable given the current situation. Before anyone else could lecture or betray Luan again, the family all heard the sound of the fire engine horn blasting in the distance, along with the wailing of a cue siren and an electronic siren applying it. That must be the pandemics. I'll go check, Lori said, watching out of the kitchen and outside the house. At first, Lori thought it was the fire engine that she and others heard, but once she reached the sidewalk, she saw what it was. Approaching the house was a large massive red and white Mack truck, emblems with lights flashing and cue sound wailing. It's an electronic PA 4000. Brian's siren was also running, but shut off as ambulance slowed down, and the red painted crib next to the loud house. Yeah, the cue siren slowly wind down, even as it come to a complete stop. Lori then noticed the words "Critical Emergency Response Unit" written on the side of the ambulance, making them feel more tense than ever. This type of This type of modified ambulance will only use for emergencies and warrior woods for victims suffering serious life-threatening injuries, and it was already clear to Lori that Lincoln was in a very bad shape. She never thought that Luan's pranks would eventually lead up to those kind of events. She and the rest of the family never thought it could happen, but how wrong they all were. One of Luan's pranks finally went away, and now a member of her own family was suffering because of it. Mom and Dad No. We should have stopped the wind when they had the chance. Lori fought as the pandemics inside the ambulance opened the wheel doors. But inside, we all hide in a bunker like cowards. Every April Fool's Day, just hoping the wind will go easy on us. And our look was happening as it was a result of our cowardice. Two EMT officers inside the back of the ambulance wheeled a large stretcher out of the sidewalk with various medical equipment on it. Then two others step out of the driver and passenger seat of the ambulance and walk up to Lori. The EMT driver's name tag read Nelson Weber's. Are you the one who called us about someone named MacLeod needing immediate help? The EMT driver asked. Yes, I'm his sister, Lori Loud. Lori nodded. My parents and sisters are with Lincoln in the kitchen. Can you lead us to them? Nelson asked. Yes, right away. You better hurry, 'cause he's hurt real bad, Lori said, leading the pandemics to the house. Once inside, Lori led to the EMTs into the kitchen, where they found Winsor trying to revive Lincoln, and Rita gently wrapping an old towel around its broken forearm. Lincoln's sister stood nearby. Mom, they're here, Lori announced, stepping aside to allow the EMTs in the kitchen. Rita looked up and said, Oh, thank God. Move aside, man. We need to check him out, Nelson encouraged. Once she and Lindsay were out of the way, the EMT officers lowered the stretcher bed and wheeled it next to Lincoln. Nelson instructed the other three EMTs and slowly left Lincoln to the stretcher. As they did, the blood-soaked towel accidentally fell off. Lincoln's broken forearm fell off. Oh my goodness. The blood-soaked towel accidentally fell off Lincoln's broken forearm, exposing the bone. Jesus Christ, what the hell happened to this kid? One of the pandemics explained. Poor kid. Looks like a train hit him. The other one exclaimed as Lincoln was let out gently on the stretcher. The three EMTs unloaded the equipment, were considered the heart monitor, respirator mags, respirator bandages, and splint to hold Lincoln's broken forearm in place. As they hooked up Lincoln to the heart monitor and respirator, Nelson looked over at Rita and Lindsay and asked, Are you the two this boy's parents? Yes, I'm Rita Loud, and Lindsay here's my father. And Lindsay here is his father, Rita replied, still sounding very choked up. Man, I can't wait today. How long has it been unconscious? Nelson asked. Since before you got here. He fell unconscious when the fridge fell on him, Lindsay replied. Then that is possible that Lincoln has suffered a bad connection in any case. We need to get him to the ER right away. That's a reply while rushing over to the assistant fellow EMTs. Lincoln was now fully hooked up to the heart monitor. His broken forearm has been bandaged, striped, and held to the places to the metal splint, and the respirator mags have been placed over his nose and mouth. Just then, the alarm on the hall monitor went off, alerting everyone in the kitchen. Oh God, Nelson said as he glanced at the hall monitor of the EMTs. Get him to the ambulance now, and increase the oxygen while you're at it. What's going on? What's happening? Rita panicked as the EMTs began wheeling Lincoln out of the kitchen as quickly as they could. His oxygen levels are dropping, Nelson informed. Probably from the blood loss and other possible internal injuries. We don't know about it yet. We need to move now, or we can lose him. At the mention of Lincoln's possibly dying, his sister began to tense up in fear and dread, and the woman began crying softly again. Rita and Lindsay followed Nelson and the other EMTs over the door, and Lincoln's sisters tore and headed towards the large ambulance. Is there possibly of us going with him? I want to be with my son's side, Rita asked. You and your husband should fan the rest. You and your husband should fit, but the rest of your family will have to remain here or find another way to follow along, Nelson informed. All right. Rita turned to Lori. Lori, me and your dad are wanting Lincoln. Take Lily and the rest of your sisters and follow us to the hospital in the van. Lori nodded and took Lily from Rita, then ordered her sisters to follow inside the family van, which what did in a heartbeat. Luan said father's away in the back, still crying and not saying a word. Once Lincoln was safely inside the ambulance, Rita and Lindsay climbed inside and pulled the doors shut. Hang on back there, you two, Nelson advised. We'll be driving at very high speeds on our way. He then started the engine, switched on the emergency lights, and headed off, switching on the PA 400 siren. Once they were on the road, the EMT officer on the passenger seat, blowing the Q siren air horns and ambulance, hit traffic ahead. Outside, Lindsay saw Laura and the others following close to the ambulance in the Benzilla. The two EMTs worked faster to keep Lincoln stabilized. They increased the level of oxygen in the rhapsodic's inflamed head and chest. They had to remove Lincoln's shirt to do this, and when they did, large purple blotches could be seen near the right side of the chest. Shit, this is bad. The EMT officer left cuts a look over the small window leading to the passenger and command. Nelson, you better stand by it. Inform the hospital we got a code 4-0. This kid is far more dangerous than we thought. On it. Nelson picked up the radio microphone and called the hospital to inform the situation. What's wrong with him? Is he dying? Rita began to panic. He's going to if we don't act now, the EMT said, pulling a shelf open the van's spectral tools. He's got a puncture in his right lung, probably from the 3 broken ribs. That is the reason Lincoln's losing oxygen. He's basically began slowly choking on his own blood the whole time. Oh God, Lincoln! Rita began crying. What are we going to do? Nancy panicked. We'll have to circulating drain the blood in his lung with the tricard because it collapsed. Before it collapsed completely. If we wait any longer, he'll die. It's a miracle that he made it longer on a petrol line. That hasn't completed yet, the EMT officer replied, slipping medical gloves on his hands, fetching a large tricard from the shelf. The other EMT handed him a blood bag and an IV pipe attached to it, then hooked up to the tricard with a punch into the right side of Lincoln's chest. One of the tricard was in place. The blood in Lincoln's left lung began draining into the blood bag, responding to the respiratory system. The alarm in the heart monitor stopped, but Lincoln's heart rate was very slow. Looks like he's stable for now, but he's still in very bad shape, the EMT reported. Lincoln's not gonna die, is he? Nancy asked worriedly. Honestly, don't know. The EMT replied, glancing down at Lincoln. His injuries are very serious, so we can only hope that pulse flew until we reach the hospital. Lincoln, Rita said painfully. Rita said painfully. Lauren and her sisters are far more intense and worried than ever and followed close behind the ambulance, carrying Lincoln and their parents. Lori didn't have to worry much about the car since the ambulance easily cleared the traffic with its electric siren, Q siren, and fire engine air horns. This easily allowed Lori to match her speed with the ambulance, which was scarcely going at a full 90 miles per hour, a speed that Lori had never exceeded until now. Lori, do you think Lincoln will? Lenny began tumbling and she started ahead of the ambulance, wondering what just had happened inside. The rear door windows were tinted. It was so hard for Lenny to make out what was going on inside the ambulance. Don't say it, Lenny, Lori snapped, wiping a tear from her eye. He's not gonna die on us. Lincoln's stronger than you think. I know he pulled through. It's all Luan's fault. If it wasn't for her and her stupid pranks, this would be happening. Lola sobbed. Yeah, We all know something like this would happen one day, and now look what she's done. Lana added, her prince have brought only misfortune upon us all. Lucy said coldly. Luan was probably the only one crying harder than anyone else in the van. She knew for an absolute fact that her sisters were saying was true. There was no denying it. Luan never thought this could happen, nor did she suspect the wonderful prince could go on like this. She was the queen of pranks, and she never blushed a prank before. So how could this one have gone so early? It made precious little difference as wide or how it went wrong, but the fact it was that he did, and this was a result of Luan's horrible blunder. Lincoln was now inside the ambulance on his way to the hospital in critical condition because of what she had done. Luan began to reflect on all April Fool's pranks, and she pulled the past and finally realized just how foolish and reckless she had been all those times. Luan had never thought, nor considered the possibility that her prince could have badly injured or even killed one of her parents or siblings during those times, especially the ones at the hotel. She now started to wonder why she even pulled those pranks in the first place. Luan never intended to hurt him. She really wanted to spread her joy on April Fool's tradition and get a laugh out of pranking her family, as she always did every year. Yet she never took credit to know how it made everyone else feel. And Luan never thought that any of her pranks could go on, since she always teased them first, and yet she had never thought they'd impact the fridge before sending out the prank that would eventually lead to the horrible event. Luan never even thought the fridge would actually fall over when Lincoln hit it, since it was so big and heavy. In hindsight, if the leg had not been so loose, the fridge may have stayed in place instead of falling over on Lincoln like it did. How could I have been so blind? How did I miss such a small detail like that? I'm so sorry, Lincoln, Luan thought, her expiration filled with romance. Luan didn't know what Lincoln's actual condition was at the moment, since he was inside the ambulance. But she could only think of horrible things probably going on in there. She imagined everything from Lincoln choking to death on his own blood, to suffering for cardiac arrest, possibly ended up brain dead, or worst of all, dead. Luan didn't know how her family would ever forgive her for this, but she could only hope and pray that Lincoln wasn't going to die from his injuries caused for her recklessness. Lincoln, please don't die on us because of me. I am so sorry. Please, God, don't take my brother away from me. Luan prayed silently as she sobbed softly in the very back of the van.